Hello and welcome to the Derrylin Diaries, the podcast where big stories come from small voices.
We're your hosts. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Sophie.
And we're both pupils at St Leonard's Primary School here in the beautiful Derrylin, County Fermanagh.
Every episode, we dive into the heart of our community, bringing you the voices, stories and memories of people we admire. And today, we have an extra special show lined up.
That's right. Here on the Derrylin Diaries, we follow a fun format of 5 questions with.
So, I bet you're wondering who the 5 questions with will be today. Are you ready for our next guest? Caitlin, over to you for her introduction.
Thanks, Sophie. She's a local hero with a heart of gold, an All-Ireland champion with Fermanagh ladies, a role model to young girls chasing their football dreams. And guess what? She's my very own neighbour living here in Derrylin. Please give a warm Derrylin welcome for the Donagh woman, Roisin Gleeson!
Well, Roisin, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling a wee bit nervous, to be honest. I'm good at maybe shouting instructions or, telling my teammates what they should be doing. Sitting on a one-to-one, getting interviewed is probably not something I would do every day, girls. So
we would just like to thank you again for making the effort to come to our school and participate in the Derrylin Diaries podcast. We are beyond grateful.
Well, without any further ado, let's get started. As we previously mentioned, our podcast structure follows a format of 5 questions with, and in this case, it's 5 questions with Roisin Gleeson.
So Roisin, we're going to begin by bringing it right back to your childhood and where you grew up. So, at this point, we should probably remind the listeners that when our class wrote letters to each of our guests, we asked them to bring in an item that represents their childhood. So today, Roisin, we would like you to tell us where you grew up, what your chosen item is, and why it reminds you of your childhood.
Well, I think it's probably no surprise that I brought a football here today. So I grew up in Donagh, so in the housing estate. This was probably our main thing to do. So we always played football at school. And then we played football after school, I suppose. We had a wee stone pitch out the back of where we lived. And then we had the football field, which I'm sure many of you Derrylin girls will grace now in good time. Football's been a big part of my life. Whenever I went to school in Donagh, Mr. McElroy, who teaches here, his daddy was our coach. So, the coaches that come in for Fermanagh here, like Pat Cad and Emer Keenan, I think, is Ulster GAA. John McElroy used to come into us, and I think that was probably my first chance to get playing football. And that was because we come from a small area. Our classes were probably very small, so we might only had 7 or 8 maybe in every class. So it meant that maybe 2 classes were together. We had maybe P6 and P7 were together, all in the one class. And then we would play football, at break time or at lunchtime, and the girls actually sometimes played with the boys. So that absolutely did me no harm, because I think sometimes you have to learn to be tough in those situations as well. I've been playing football for my club team for 30 years. You would believe that I'm actually over 30. And I've been playing county football for Fermanagh from 2009, so that's coming up 16 years now, maybe with a wee gap in between, but still always been involved, coached teams, coached under 16 county teams, and you learn stuff from younger generations as well. But football, it opens many doors for you. I don't think I'd be sitting here today if I didn't play football.
Well, me and Sophie love football too. Our next question area, Roisin, is all to do with school. We would love to know, when you were younger, what school you went to and what was your favourite subject. Also, do you have any funny memories from when you were at school?
Okay, so I went to primary school in Donagh, but I went to secondary school in Lisnaskea. So I went to St Comgills. You would probably be surprised to know the PE probably was not my favourite subject. I did it. I played a lot of sport. We would have played a lot of volleyball, netball, football, running. Running was definitely not for me. My favourite subject at school, I probably would have had 2. Technology and design, and also chemistry. So 2 very different contrasts, I suppose. When you look at both of them, technology and design, I ended up being the only girl to do it as a GCSE. So I was in a class full of boys. So because it was a mixed school, you had a choice whenever you sit your GCSEs what subjects you're going to do. So I did technology and design because I like creating things. So, from nothing, say like wood, trying to get electricals working, stuff like that there. Funny story, I suppose, about technology. I remember, I think in our first year, we had a teacher called Mr. McLeod, and we were making spinning wheels. So you had to make like a piece of wood, and then you had like a spinning wheel in it, and then you pulled it, and it came out on the floor, okay? We were sanding, so we'd got all the wood prepared and glued it together, and then we had to sand it. And whenever it came to my time to sand it, the sander just blew out the whole thing. So I was like, oh, maybe this subject isn't for me. But chemistry then, we had a chemistry teacher from over Canolly direction called Mr. Owens. Now, he was a brilliant teacher, very old school. So he used to go around the class and you used to have to get up and do the reactivity series. So whenever you go to secondary school, you'll start learning it. So if you want to come up to me, I'll give you a few lessons. It's like potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, tin, lead, copper, silver, gold, platinum. And I'm telling you, if you did not know that, you'd know it the next day because you would have been writing it out 100 times that night. So every day we'd come into the class, he'd start at the back, he'd be like, up. So they'd have to say it, they'd sit down, then the next person would get up. Yeah, I like chemistry. I suppose when it's ingrained into you like that.
Me and Sophie are really excited to learn that when we go to secondary school.
Our third question today is an interesting one, Roisin. We would like to know, if you weren't doing the job you do now and you could be anything, absolutely anything, what do you think you'd be and why?
If I could do anything in the world, I would be a sports nutrition at the highest level. So say like in the Premier League or in the Rugby League or Aussie Rules. So what you would be doing is, so you have your sports team, so you'd be looking at what food that they're intaking during the day, making sure that it's the correct food for performance. Because I suppose it's one thing that we forget, like we all go out training, I'm sure you girls go out training every night. You could literally be running from school and then the next thing you forgot to eat, then you're at training, then you have a bad performance, then you come home and you're annoyed with yourself. So it's all about fuel in your body, so it's all about getting those 1% that you actually need in your game. So like training is so important, don't get me wrong. So the rest of the time you need to be thinking about what your nutrition is. Are you getting up in the morning? Are you leaving enough time to have breakfast? Are you getting the right lunch into you? Are you eating after training, before training? It's all about balance. So it's all about the small percents. And that's what happens in life. It's all about the small percents. The more work you put in, the more you'll get out of it.
For question number 4, we're going to dig a little deeper. That's right, listeners, we're going to dig a little deeper. Roisin, we would love for you to tell us a story or something very few people know about you, only if you're comfortable, of course.
The girls I play football with at the minute, some of them are half my age and some of them are actually more than that. Probably by the time you come around and play for Fermanagh, I'll probably still be there. But if any of you are thinking about going to St Aidan's, I'm sure you know Miss McGloin.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's the PE teacher down there. So Miss McGloin plays football with me, a very good friend of mine. We were playing a league final in Parnell Park back in 2011. So I was chatting to Molly one day and we were saying, so what school? You didn't go to St Cole's, Molly? And she's like, no, I did. And I was like, all right. So whenever we went to school, whatever you had to sign into your computer, and then you used to put in the year that you started the school. So I started the school in 99. I said, sure, I don't remember you. Molly was like, well, that's probably because I wasn't born until the 2000s. So whenever I was at secondary school, Molly wasn't even born. All right? Okay? So rewind 3 years ago, Fermanagh ladies got to All-Ireland final against Antrim and Molly was the captain. Okay? So that day in Parnell Park, Molly was playing at halftime in the P7 thing and I was doing nets for Fermanagh. Yeah. So we fast forward then, so that was 2011, we fast forward 11 years. Molly has grown up, played her football with her club, came out, played under age county, came to play senior county and was now the captain of Fermanagh. So it just shows you can do anything in life. You put your mind to it, you can do anything.
I'm sure you're glad to know we're on to our final question. This time we would like to ask you for some advice. Roisin, as you might know, myself and Caitlin are going into big school next year and we were wondering what advice would you give to a year 7 pupil who might be nervous as they enter secondary school?
What I would say is be yourself. because guess what? No one else can be you. Ask lots of questions. You know, don't never be afraid to ask a question. There's never a silly question. Have confidence in yourself, okay? You have 2 ears, one mouth, so listen twice as much as you talk, okay? And just enjoy yourselves, girls. You know, you're going to make friendships along the way, so try the best to be your authentic self, okay? And don't let anyone ever push you around. Just stand up for yourself, be confident, just have belief in yourself, and anything can happen.
Are you all questioned out, Roisin?
Well, drinking this water anyway, a bit dry.
Well, do you think you'd be able to do a quick fire 10 question round of the game This or That to allow our listeners at home to get to know you better?
Of course.
Okay, let's get started. Pizza or pasta?
Pasta.
Netball or tennis?
Netball.
Time travel to the past or time travel to the future?
Time travel to the past.
Podcasts or listening to music?
Podcasts.
Have all the money in the world but no family, or have all your family but no money?
Family, no money.
Twitter, now known as X, or Instagram?
Instagram.
Liverpool or United?
United.
Win a Club All-Ireland as a player or win a County All-Ireland as a manager?
Won a Club All-Ireland as a player.
Amy Mackin or Cora Staunton?
Amy Mackin.
Now, Roisin, time for the big one. Derrylin or Dona?
Dona.
Well, would you look at that, Sophie? We're all done. Thank you, Roisin, for your participation. We have had great fun getting to know you better.
We better get going or we're going to be in bother with our dinner ladies, Marion and Marion. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll be back soon with our next guest. Keep an eye out on our socials for who we've got lined up.
That's all for now. From myself, Caitlin,
And me, Sophie.
and the Derrylin Diaries team. Slán!